I had a lot of requests for men's haircuts, so today I'll be doing a clipper haircut called a high and tight. And what this is going to be a skin fade. And I'll explain as we go. We're going to have longer hair up here, and I'll show you how to blend everything in. And hopefully, if you get a little bit of practice, you might be just as good as a professional barber. I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to go up just a little bit, about an inch or two. This is going to be really high and tight, so that's why I'm going up further. Now, I would practice with a longer blade if you're going to attempt this haircut before you go into a skin fade. Okay, when you're making your first line, you want to make sure it's absolutely even. You don't want to have little gashes here and there. So when you get to the ear, you're going to hold the ear down and just kind of go up like this around the ear. See how that makes stair steps? Just going to kind of bring that in. And then match my line there. So usually around the top of the ear right here, you're going to start and just come up right to the temple. And as you see, it's a little gash there, so I'm just going to match that line. So I would go right about to the temple. It looks a little scary right now, but once we blend it all in, it looks amazing. So I'm going back to the center. And for stability, if you need to hold the top of the head, I think that would be a good thing for you. Some people are comfortable just freehanding. I like to have some kind of stability.
I forgot to mention I'm using a T-blade, which is comparable to a 0 on the wall clippers.
So what you want to do is you want to just double check to make sure the sides match. This side's a little higher, so I'm going to go in. This is why we use mirrors in barbering. Mirrors really help us see the whole picture. I'm going to go back in and raise this side a little bit. Now we're getting into the clipper section. So I have my clippers, my wall clippers, and I'm going to have it. This is a 0. I'm going to raise it to a 1/2. You see how you're making a line? I would make it about an inch above your other line. So this is your guide here. And when you hold your clippers to the scalp, do not dig in. You want to make sure that you pretend that there's a flat wall and you're just going to go straight up. After that line is done, I'm going to go to a number 1. Make sure your blade is all the way down because that makes it a true 1. So we have 0, 1/2. Now, it gets a little bit longer up here. So instead of doing a 1, I'm going to skip a level and go from a 1/2 to a 1.5, just to give me some room to play. Same thing, you're going to go straight up. This part of your head right here is called the parietal ridge. This is what you're going to use as a guide. When your clippers hit that ridge, you're going to know, okay, I'm just going to keep going straight up. Okay, so we have 0, 1/2, and then we jumped up to 1.5. Make sure your clipper is all the way down. 2. Now you're just blending that top line. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to erase this ugly line right here. Okay, so we did a 0, half, 1.5, and 2. Remember, the T-blade goes all the way down to the skin. So now you have your clipper, it's a little bit bigger blade. Because we had the 0 here, I think I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do a half. So this is 0, this is half. Go in. Okay, it's starting to cut a little bit more. See how it's starting to erase the line a little bit? I'm gonna go down a little bit lower. Now when you go in, you can do little circular motions. Sometimes that helps. If you're a little scared going straight in, you're just gonna take it. You're gonna take your clippers and you're gonna kind of lift up and out. See how it's kind of erasing that line? Look how nice that looks, nice and faded. All the way up. You're gonna do that around the whole perimeter of the head. Okay, so we went in and we erased all of our lines. Looks nice and blended. Okay, get yourself a squirt bottle. Make sure the water's warm so it's comfortable. And you're just gonna, not soaking wet, but just enough so that you can separate the hairs. That's basically what you're doing. And another reason why we wet the hair is because when it's dry and it's flying through the air, you can inhale it and all that. So it's best just to wet it. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it, but I made a horseshoe shape and separated the hair out. So now that I did the horseshoe shape, I'm gonna take the hair that I have from this section and the hair that I have from this section. I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm just gonna cut. Never cut past your knuckle, because if you cut that skin off, it takes a long time to heal. So now you made a guide, so you're gonna pull the next hair over and you see exactly where it matches. You're gonna trim. Come in here. So now we can see how it blends, very nice. Okay, once you're done the perimeter, we're gonna work on the top. So his hair is longer on the top. So we're gonna take that piece of hair from the back. See how that's so much shorter? That's your guide. You're gonna follow that guide and you're just gonna trim everything that's sticking up. And then you take this piece that you just trimmed for the next section. See how that's shorter? You're just gonna take that off. So I'm gonna make a guide for the top of his hair. His bang is a little bit longer, so I'm just gonna tilt my fingers up a little bit. So you have your guide from the back to the front. And I'm just gonna trim the front. We're gonna keep this a little bit longer. So now when I have the center guide and the front guide, I'm gonna take the next section over along with the section I just cut, and that's your guide for the next section. You can actually see the line that you need to cut. All right, so I'm just gonna finish the top of his haircut. Okay, so this is a high and tight skin fade. So when you're all done, I like to style men's hair with Redken Rewind. I love this stuff. It's got a different texture. I always call it Spider-Man gel. That's what I tell the kids, because it's like little webs. You only need a little bit. So just spray it with a mist. You're gonna take the Rewind or the Spider-Man gel, like I like to tell the kids. And however they want to style it. Doug likes to spike the front, so we'll spike the front a little bit. Run it through the sides. And just run it through the hair because it makes it nice and shiny. And it makes it moldable, so you can just kind of style it any way you want. And I love Rewind because it doesn't get flaky and it doesn't get crusty and dry out. So that's a men's haircut. There's one more trick. Sometimes guys have something called a widow's peak, and it throws off their hairline. So don't hesitate to go in and tweeze those extra little hairs out, or just take your clippers and go a teeny bit up in there. If you're too scared to do it, don't. But this is the men's high and tight haircut. Hopefully you learned something today. Thanks for watching.